Hi everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. So lovely to see you. Some of you, yeah, I can see you and it's really great. So welcome to another HR webinar. For those of you who know me, I believe most of you know me already. I'm Alexandra, the founder of Urban Yoga Lab and a corporate well-being expert. And I'm very excited today to share with you some of our best tips and hacks and best practices. So feel free to let me know down in the comments as we are waiting for everyone to join this webinar. Where are you based? Where are you based? Where do you live? And we'll start with myself. I personally live in London. But for the last couple of weeks, I am based in Crete as a digital nomad, which is really great. But I will be back to London. It's going to be next month. So I see a lot of people here from the UK, which is great. Sunny West Sussex, so beautiful, Sarah. Here in Creta is very cloudy today, rainy. Doesn't feel like Greece at all. Lincoln, UK, amazing. Staffordshire, London. For those of you who live in London, can you let me know which area? We might be neighbors and we don't even know. Philippines, Matthew from Philippines, welcome. Nusaiba from Paris, super beautiful. Hey everyone, Southern Germany here, amazing. West London, Colleen from Pakistan, lovely to see you again, Colleen, really amazing. And just for you to have an idea about who is going to be with us today, I have a member of my team, her name is Michela Seda. So she's going to be to interact with you in the comments, and she's going to share some links and everything we need for our today webinar. So I know that some of you will be with their cameras on, and that's okay, but I just want to highlight that this is a recorded webinar. So feel free to be here with your cameras on or off, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. It's going to be an interactive webinar, so I expect all of us to share ideas and tips and best practices. So, sorry, I'm just keep letting people in the room. And in the meantime, I just want to get started. It's already 1:05. So our today webinar is about Gen Z. And I'm really excited because today I want to share with you some insights that we collected from our HR employee wellbeing platform, Oxygen. And it's our go-to place in Urban Yoga Lab to collect a lot of insights and ideas and best practices when it comes to employee experience, employee behavior, and engagement. So before we get started, I just want to ask all of you to share in the comments what is your intention from our today webinar. And if there is one single thing, what would make this an amazing webinar for you? I'm going to share my own intention for today is to share with as many of you, as many of my best practices, some ideas, some strategies that they will make your life easier. This is my intention. So, Corina, to find out how we can manage the mix of generations. I'm in Stockholm now, and I have cousins in London. Beautiful, amazing. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen with you. So just to give a little bit of visual here. And we are amazing. So let me know if you can see my screen and if you can hear me okay in the comments. I have some internet issues earlier today and I just want to make sure that you can hear me perfectly okay. I'm an internal mentor, so any tips will be useful. Of course, Christopher, it will be my pleasure. Hacken, I'm here to learn many things. Gen Z webinars, well-being, amazing Hacken. This is exactly what we're going to discuss today. I would like to ask you if it is possible for those of you that you are unmuted, just to put yourselves on mute. That would be amazing. And now we're ready to get started about Gen Z. So, but before that, just to give a little bit of introduction about who I am. Some of you might know me already, some of you not really. So I'm a corporate well-being expert, the founder of Urban Yoga Lab, and also I'm a former PR executive. So I used to work in the corporate world. Um, Sometimes what I say is that I'm a burnout survivor. I know this sounds a little bit dramatic, but 4 years ago, I resigned from the career of my dreams just because I experienced burnout. And that was one of the most challenging times of my life. So that makes me so much passionate and so much motivated to help employees to get access to the right tools they need in order to take care of their well-being and their mental health. So this is my life's work, really. So for the last couple of years since I've resigned, I traveled to over 40 countries. I have immersed myself in different cultures all over the world. And my purpose was to hack high sustainable performance via evidence-based well-being tools. So I had the opportunity to visit Buddhist monasteries, to stay and spend time in homeless centers, spending time with people in need. I had an amazing collaboration with Mind organization in London, where I deliver some well-being programs to people with mental health issues. So all those experiences helped me. And in the next 60 minutes, I'm going to share with you, based on my personal experience, what I have seen that work really well when it comes to attract and retain youth talent. So just about Urban Yoga Lab, you might have heard about us before. So we are an occupational health provider based in the UK. And what we actually do is serving companies that they want to help their employees, to empower their hybrid employees actually, to radically upgrade their well-being. At the same time, we help businesses to learn new ways of becoming an employer of choice. So over the last several years, we have been entrusted by more than 50 big corporations, including Wells Fargo, Soho House, Royal Bank of Canada. Our purpose was to give access to our Zen Warrior tools to as many employees as possible. So thanks to the great success we had, now we decided to productize our offerings via our Oxygen platform. I'm going to share a little bit more with you at the end of this webinar. So just a little bit about the agenda today. The first kind of subchapter is all about Gen Z. What do we need to know about this generation? Then we are going to explore the key challenges, and then we're going to discuss best practices. At the very end, we will have some time for questions. And I will start with the main reason why do I personally believe that this Gen Z at workplace is a really, really hot topic. The number one reason is because by the end of 2030, Gen Z will be 30% of the global workforce. More than 1 out of 4 of your employees by 2030 will be a Gen Z employee. So this is a very good reason to explore and dive deeper in terms of what are the needs, the challenges, and main priorities of this generation. But the second reason why I feel this topic is really a hot topic is because of Great Resignation. And Great Resignation is real. Many businesses struggle to engage Gen Z employees. In fact, nearly 50% of Generation Z employees would prefer being unemployed than being stuck in a job they don't like. 40% of them would like to leave their jobs within the next 2 years. 35% with no plan B, without another job lined up. Now, when it comes to Great Resignation, as a well-being expert, but also as a person that I resigned 4 years ago, I can tell you that it can really have a very bad impact when it comes to an employee's, a person's life. So, for example, my own decision to resign was the most painful experience I've ever had. It made me feel incompetent, unworthy. It made me question myself in so many different levels. And the reason I mention this is because so many people who resign their 9-to-5 jobs, they tend to glamorize the lifestyle and everything. But in my case, I always suggest to employees, every time I interact with employees, that this is a really tough decision. And it's really important to first take care of our well-being and our mental health. Learn how to do this, exactly where we are, before we make any decision to leave our current employer. So I want to discuss a little bit about what that decision was, what was the impact of this decision for me. So to give you an idea, it took me 2 years, all my savings, and tons of anxiety to find my path. And this doesn't need to be the reality for so many employees out there. So there is a cost, and that's why I'm so passionate about helping younger generations with their mental health and well-being, so they don't need to compromise their values to realize their dreams. They can do and be happy exactly where they are. I am a strong believer because I've seen this over and over again. So my proposal to businesses I work with is, how do we help Gen Z to make decisions that will make them feel empowered, healthier, and happier? But when it comes to Great Resignation and cost, there's also a cost for the businesses that not many actually experts talk about, but it's really, really important. According to Society for Human Resource Management, that was reported in January this year, on average, it costs a company 6 to 9 months of an employee's salary to replace an employee. And for an employee making a £50,000 a year, that would require 25 to 37.5 thousand to replace that one single employee. How many businesses they can afford this? It's really the cost. It's like beyond any imagination. And this is why it's so important to take action. So clearly, I feel that engaging and empowering employees, particularly Gen Z employees, is a productive and a cost-effective practice. But now I want to talk a little bit about Gen Z and how they end up being so much misunderstood as a generation. And it's really interesting because someone might thought that they are misunderstood among the older generations of senior managers, CEOs. But the reality is that they are also misunderstood among the generation which is closest to them, and those are millennials. So For many businesses we discuss about Gen Z, we hear that this is a generation which is too woke. So, for example, there is a CEO whose name is Paulie Rodriguez, who said recently, he's a millennial. He said, a Gen Z employee asked on a Saturday how the firm would support BLM. Another millennial, James Kennedy, 30 years old, founder of Plant People, was asked by a Gen Z employee why she needed to work an 8-hour shift if she completed all of her tasks for the day. Ali Kritzman, 30 years old, co-founder of Bulletin, said she doesn't know how to handle texts from younger staff who say they are too anxious to work. And one of the most recent examples, I don't know how many of you know this guy, he's a real legend when it comes to the entrepreneurial world. He has so many fans, among his fans are like Gen Z and millennials. And recently he said something that created a lot of drama. And I want to share this with you because it shows what actually millennials really feel and think when it comes to Gen Z. So on a recent kind of interview with Simon Sinek, they were talking about Gen Z, and their discussion was that this is the weakest generation. So just a couple of...
without quitting, the definition of what full-time employment is up for debate. That this young generation seems less capable to deal with stress than previous generations. That is true. And so they're really good at presenting a confidence that they don't have. They sound like they have all the answers when they don't. It raises the question, is that bad? The grass is always greener.
So this type of conversation created so much controversy. And it was mostly because Stephen Bartlett said during this interview that this is the least resilient generation. And as soon as he said that, there were so many videos on TikTok and so many articles about him being like completely unaware of millennials and what are the millennials' needs and all those type of things. And the reason I share this is because so many of the business leaders I talk with every day, they feel the same way. So for example, there was a video the other day on TikTok where they were talking about a Gen Z employee. And they said, she arrives at work, takes a photo of her latte or this free muffin, shows her doing 30 seconds of work, then she's doing some pottery making class, then she comes back to do another 30 seconds of work. So this is what many, many millennial CEOs feel and think about Gen Z. So it's really important before we start talking and sharing best practices to understand a little bit more about the main characteristics of this generation. So those type of people, they are born between 1996 and 2012. They're digital natives, which means that they have no memory of the world before smartphones. They're socially conscious, more entrepreneurial than the previous generation, avid gamers and music goers. In terms of their academic background, they are less likely to drop out of high school and more likely to be enrolled in a college than previous generation. 30% of them say they consider taking a gap year after school. Needs. They prioritize their well-being and mental health more than any previous generation. In terms of their aspiration, 54% of them aspire to become entrepreneurs. Their current state is that they are just graduated or looking for the first job, they had their first job during the pandemic, or they are on a, 1 year traveling right after high school. Top 5 Gen Z concerns. Number 1 is cost of living. Number 2 is climate change. Number 3 is unemployment. Number 4 is mental health. Number 5 is sexual harassment. Top priorities: furthering their education, advancing the career salary, and getting a new job. Now, what are the main challenges of this generation? And I chose this specific quote from Natalie, who is just 21 years old. She was sharing her own ideas on an article by McKinsey. She said, "Sometimes I worry about the mental health of my generation, but I also think that people my age are doing something that hasn't really been done before, seeking therapy, being honest with ourselves and our loved ones about how we're feeling, and opting out of doing things, even for a day, like going to work or school, because we're not having a good mental health day. I think we're realizing that physically showing up isn't always enough. You have to mentally be there too. So I think that when we take the space for ourselves, that's how we take care of each other." It's interesting to start exploring the challenges, because when I did this research, on every single study, the number 1 kind of challenge is financial anxiety. And in terms of financial anxiety, we see that the financial concerns is one of the main factors. The cost of living is the top concern. 29% of Gen Z worry about this. When it comes to success at work and in life, Gen Z is driven by the desire to achieve financial peace of mind, 74% of them, and to comfortably afford the things they want. Nearly 40% of them have no investments, and of those, the top reasons for not investing include having no additional funds to spare. Gen Z women's financial literacy gaps and lack of investing relative to men may negatively impact their near and long-term financial wellness. So I'm always surprised by seeing how many Gen Z women feel less equipped to manage day-to-day expenses, 63%. Then about the Black African American, what I found really interesting is that 2/3 don't have enough emergency savings to cover 3 months of expenses. Challenge number 2, burnout. And we see mental health in the workplace, the mental health in the workplace in terms of most of Gen Z employees, like that, I would say almost 50% of them, right? 46, they feel stressed and anxious. 46%, they feel burned out due to the intensity of their workload. 44% said that many of their colleagues have recently left their organization due to burnout. And 1/3 of those feel regularly stressed because of work-life balance issues. So if 1 out of 2 Gen Z employees feel like they're burnout or they are at risk of burnout, what are the actions we need to take to support, to help, to empower this generation? Challenge number 3 is fear about the environment. And it's interesting because this generation have the higher kind of eco-anxiety than any other generation. And in fact, it affects the way they work, it affects their decision in terms of which businesses will they work for in the future, and it will affect where they can work. So it's interesting because I was reading this report by Bupa the other day, and I saw that 64% of Gen Z consider it important for an employer to act on environmental issues, and 59% will remain longer with responsible employers. The other day, I was reading an article about some employees in Australia who decided to leave the organization because they were not doing enough to respond to climate change. So if those are the main challenges, and those are the ones that I feel that they are the most important and the ones that we can take action from day one, what type of initiatives you take within your business for your Gen Z employees? If you can share with me in the comments, it will be really great. I give you a few minutes to think about it. Is there any kind of webinars or workshops or programs that you take within your business which are dedicated to this specific generation? And if yes, what type? What are those type of initiatives? And then I'm gonna share our own kind of favorite practices with you. So if you can share in your comments, if you have organized any well-being workshop, webinar, program, initiative for your Gen Z employees, what was it about? We do a lot of team bonding activities, Valentina. That's great, within the office and outside of the office. This is amazing, Valentina, and so helpful. Corina, workshops on wellness and well-being, educational sessions, coaching. Coaching is really important, Corina. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. We do a lot of activities as well as trying to reshape our well-being program. This is great to know, Nicoletta. Thank you so much for sharing. Sarah, we have a 6-month boost program, 1.5-hour master classes to help people on numerous topics: mental well-being, physical well-being, performance, overcoming barriers. Sarah, your program seems to be amazing, fantastic, really. Zara, mental health day off. This is a great thing. Mental health first aiders, well-being library. That's amazing, Zara. Thank you so much for sharing. And it helps me to know what you guys organize, because it's all about sharing, right? And it's like a conversation and discussion here. So I'm going to share with you our own favorite kind of best practices to attract, inspire, and keep Gen Z talent within your business. So as I said before, as the number one challenge is financial anxiety, I personally feel that financial well-being is the number one kind of focus in terms of initiatives and programs we can take. So what are the things that win Gen Z's heart and trust? More than 56% of Gen Z say discipline is a key trait to achieving financial success, with other important traits and characteristics being financially savvy, organization, motivation, self-awareness, frugality, and confidence. So I feel that if those are the most important elements for this generation to achieve financial success, as employers, how can we help them to boost those specific aspects, right? So this is why if you organize a financial well-being program, it's a really good idea to make sure that those are part of this program. For example, how do we become more organized when it comes to our relationship to money? How do we become better aware? How do we build confidence? Those type of things. So how do we help with financial well-being? To support employees who struggle with financial anxiety by offering learning and developing opportunities, we can offer flexible work models, try to close the pay gap, That for us in Urban Yoga Lab, our financial well-being workshops have been really, really popular. So though in those type of workshops, we help Gen Z employees to create, to have a wealthy, create a wealthy mindset. And it's more about helping them to learn how to be more aware when it comes to money, how to break self-limiting thoughts and beliefs, but also how to be more organized. And during this financial well-being workshop series, what we do is doing a series of mastermind groups where Gen Zers gather on a virtual room every week, and with a coach, a financial well-being coach, they learn how to become more organized when it comes to their financial well-being. So we share with them personal money trackers, how to log their expenses, budget calculator. And what happens is that every single week we have a challenge. Every week we meet and we go through the things that we check. So there is a checklist, and every week we make sure that we keep those trackers updated. And in a couple of weeks' time, we see that already the progress. And that's something powerful. And unfortunately, Gen Z employees, they haven't learned at school how to be financially mindful when it comes to their finance, how to be more mindful. So this type of workshops helps so much. And if you can organize something like invite a well-being coach who is an expert in this sphere and organize a series of those workshops, it can be really amazing. The way we do it is by organizing a challenge, and the employees of the group who are consistent week after week, they win the challenge. So they get a kind of a giveaway at the end. So it's a nice, fun element so everybody to be there and participate. As I said earlier, this generation really appreciates when you take steps to help them in action with their financial stress and anxiety. So the practice number 2 is about how do we reverse Great Resignation. It's really important to help this generation to find purpose. And one of the main reasons why we see Great Resignation and quiet quitting is because employees, Gen Z employees, have a need to derive a sense of meaning from their work. Main reasons a Gen Z employee will choose to work for their current organization is A, learning and developing opportunities, B, to aspire, yes, that's the one thing. And then we have 2 different type of trends where we see that 26% of Gen Z employees will stay in an organization if they feel they derive a sense of meaning from work. And 54%, as we said earlier, they aspire to become individual entrepreneurs. And by combining all those trends, what we found is that by launching an entrepreneurship program within your organization, you can help Gen Z employees with all those needs. You can help them to learn and develop their skills. You can help them to be entrepreneurs within their existing organization, and you can help them to derive a sense of meaning. So someone might ask, what is an entrepreneurship program? And why is it more important? I believe it's important because, as I said before, 1 out of 2 Gen Z employees wants to become an entrepreneur, right? So entrepreneurship is when individuals take the initiative to carry out innovation within their existing organization. They effectively act like entrepreneurs, but within a company. This has been launched successfully by many big organizations like Microsoft and Vodafone. So you identify a key issue, a key challenge within your business, and then you gather a team of Gen Z employees to all to come together and to exchange ideas, to brainstorm, and every week to meet to solve this challenge. So that helps. The second thing is about innovative kind of workshops. And I know that these type of workshops might sound like out of this world, like airy-fairy kind of things, but for Gen Z employees can be a fun, exciting, interesting way to learn something new by doing something fun. So for example, one of the initiatives we ran for one of our clients recently was to do a workshop with horses. So we gathered a team of Gen Z employees to come and do a horse riding class. At the same time, we had a coach there who helped them to see how a horse can be a best leadership coach, because by understanding how horses interact with one another can help us to learn how to interact with each other, can help us to develop our leadership style in the workplace, and so many other things. So it's an amazing kind of workshop. We have run it before, and we have seen employees to be really, really excited, taking pictures, posting on social media, sharing with friends. It helps also with your brand, right? So the third thing is about, the third practice is all about supporting employees' mental health. Now, I know that this can be very generic, so I will try to give you specific kind of actionable, easy to follow kind of practices. So as we said before, almost 1 out of 2 Gen Z employees feel burnout due to the intensity of their workload. So can you guess how long does it take for an employee to recover from burnout? If you can let me know in the comments. I see more comments here. Encouraging hybrid work and discouraging micromanagement whilst improving the autonomy. Autonomy is a key word. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I'm learning, but my previous employer, they do a lot. They're talking about endeavors. Okay. Sometimes more than a year with therapy. Corina, beautiful. Valentina, it depends. Varies. Couple of months. Okay. Matthew, I'm Gen Z. I would say 1 year. Matthew, welcome. It's so lovely to have a Gen Z employee here. And I'd love to hear more from you if that's okay. Christopher, maybe 2 years. Okay. Nusaiba, at least 1 year. Beautiful. So most of you guessed right. So it takes an average time of 3 months to a year to recover from burnout, according to scientists, according to doctors. Of course, it depends how long your burnout lasts, because it depends on your level of emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion, right? So my question to the businesses I work with is, can you afford this? Can you afford having employees being out of work because they need to recover and heal from burnout? From 3 months to a year, is it something you can afford? And that's why I really think that we can do everything we can to support employees, to support them to look after themselves mentally, and when it comes physically, all aspects of well-being. So how do we support employee mental health proactively? Because most of my clients, when I talk with about burnout, they always try to overcome it only when it happens. But then it's too late. It's too late. So to taking preventative measures is so important. We can offer learning resources. We can organize initiatives which value well-being. Try do everything we can to break down the stigma, helping our managers to be more compassionate leaders, helping everyone to recognize the alarming signs of depression, anxiety, and imposter syndrome as early as possible. So In terms of employee well-being solutions, the ones we have seen in Urban Yoga Lab, they work really well. The one is the mental health self-tests. It's a self-assessment kind of checklists. So normally, a Gen Z employee will be at risk of burnout, or they will experience burnout because they are not able to identify the alarming signs early enough. So this is why it's so important to share with them some self-tests that they know you cannot see, what they checked. And then by doing those checklists, then they are able to see what the next steps are. What do they need to do? What type of help they need to seek? So this is so important. And this is why we've created some templates and we share those with our clients so they can share with their employees and they're able to identify those alarming signs early. The second thing we do that helps is organizing corporate well-being retreats. We know that many businesses organize some team bonding trips, might be a skiing trip or something else. And our idea is to infuse those experiences with well-being activities. So it can be an experiential bootcamp or a wellness retreat. And then on those kind of retreats, to do some kind of workshops and some activities where your managers learn how to develop hard and soft skills, how to become better leaders via compassion and empathy, to learn how to give effective feedback, because one of the most important reasons why somebody feels burned out or stressed is because of giving and receiving feedback is one of the most stressful things in the workplace. And the last thing is we teach managers how to learn techniques to distress, but then they can teach them to their teams. And the whole idea of a well-being retreat creates a positive workplace culture. So in terms of the self-assessment tools, here they are. You can take a picture if you want with your phone, and then you can download on your phone on a PDF form. And this is what we share with our clients. I'm going to share this presentation with you all at the end. If you don't have enough time to take a picture now, don't worry. And then the practice number 4 is protecting the environment. And protecting the environment, it's so important for businesses to learn how to focus on making sustainable choices, be proactive in alleviating environmental issues, and to show that they are committed in fighting environmental change. But then the question is how, right? When we see Gen Z generation subs green and they want to work at green companies, how do we help them to see that we embrace an eco-friendly kind of approach? So one of the things we do in Urban Yoga Lab is launching a program which is all about eco well-being. So it's about saving the planet and it's about mindfulness. So we work with an amazing coach who tells his story of his journey from being a climate campaigner at the UN to a mindfulness teacher and back again. He is sharing lessons learned that will hopefully leave your employees feeling more optimistic about the fate of the world. The last practice is about taking care of your corporate branding. And 70% of Gen Z employees look at company reviews on sites such as Glassdoor just before they make a decision, a career decision. So how do we take care of our corporate branding? The number one thing is about offering one-to-one work-life coaching to employees who leave your company. And I understand that now with the recession, there might be some layoffs, there might be some changes when it comes to your workforce. it's not just how you make your employees feeling when they enter your business, but how they feel when they exit. And in many cases, this is more important. So before they exit, it would be really great if you can offer, a series of one-to-one support with a coach who will help them in terms of what they need to do next when it comes to their career. So that's the one thing. The second thing is promoting your employee well-being initiatives on digital media. Now, you might tell me that, oh, every business does this, every business. But the truth is that 80% of the businesses I know, they do not do enough to promote externally their employee well-being initiatives. They do promote internally, yes, but they do not promote externally. So it's really important for candidates to know that you prioritize your employees' well-being and mental health by advertising, by promoting, by presenting, by talking about on digital media, about all the amazing plans and programs and initiatives you take to look after your staff. So that's important. We created an external communication toolkit. I can tell you more if you're interested. You can email me and share more information with you. But it's honestly really, really important because it helps you to improve your corporate brand and make candidates and especially Gen Z employees to want to work with you. So at this point, do you have any questions? Yes. Here. Feel free to unmute yourself. Yes, of course.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm full of very positive and I'm full of positive things. I've learned a lot and thank you. But I feel I have to say one important thing. And I have two Gen Z sons, and I think I realize it's a very different world. I was in IT, so I'm still in IT, but it is different. We used to have fixed phones and our parents didn't know where we were for hours or days or whatever. So it's very different. And they have maybe not have so many crises, and they are very good because they care about important stuff and that we maybe have forgotten a little bit about. And so that's very good. But if you tell them that when you get burned out, it will take a year, that's also self-fulfilling prophecy. So I understand you're talking to us now, but if you tell the Gen Z that it's so dangerous that you will be out for, I don't think we should talk about time, maybe the process, and also remind them that's when you need your friends, you need to take care of each other and so stuff like that. Because if you tell them it's 1 year, it's not what you should tell the Gen Z, I think.
Yes.
I understand it's important. It is an issue. It is, you have to be able to talk about it. But you see what I mean?
I totally see what you mean, and I totally agree with you, because in many cases it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? It can become a self-fulfilling prophecy because we live in this world of, glamorizing, victimizing ourselves.
Yes.
And I see that. I see this as a trend, and it's so important to highlight what you just mentioned. So my own kind of the reason why I shared this with you about the time is because business leaders need to be more to understand how alarming this can be for their organization.
Yes, that's very good. That message to them, you could say 10 years, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's good. But maybe it's another message to the generation.
Absolutely.
Itself. And certainly
and
that you need your friends. You should
and personally, what I experienced personally myself, when I experienced burnout, I went to the therapist, and the therapist said to me, you need up to a year to recover. I got absolutely shocked. And I've never heard about burnout before. I didn't know what happens when somebody doesn't learn how to distress and deal with anxiety and pressure. I didn't know about some of those things, so I was shocked. This is why it's so important for business leaders to help employees to learn how to become more resilient,
Yes,
right?
that's
And
really important. And I think
yes,
it's very, very good presentation. Thank you very much.
thank you so much. And your insight was so, I felt like it added so much value in our conversation. So thank you for sharing. We really appreciate it. Any other questions? We have questions maybe in the comments. Will you share the toolkit? Of course I will share it, Nicoletta. Just feel free to share your email address here in the comments and we will email this to you. So of course I will share the slides. I will share the research, the report, everything, of course. And I want to say something. All those insights that I shared with you today, it was because of our employee well-being platform, Oxygen, which actually helped us to gather a lot of insights when it comes to Gen Z and millennials. First of all, the reason why we decided to build this platform was to help younger generations to get access to the right tools they need anywhere, anytime. So I'm going to share with you just 1 minute of your time. How does this platform look like? Just to get an idea, have an understanding of what is this kind of platform and how does it help. So just bear with me for a minute. And also in the meantime, as we wait for the video to load, I just want to say that we organize in Urban Yoga Lab an amazing in-person event for those of you who will be in the UK.
Welcome to
So I'm gonna share, just give me a second. Here we are.
the one-stop shop for SMEs and startups to prioritize their employees' well-being. We use automation via a membership website to help your employees take care of their well-being in just 3 clicks. With Oxygen, you get instant access to more than 30 live monthly well-being activities across 45 categories delivered by 80 top well-being experts. This is an end-to-end well-being program for every day of the year. Our platform is not just cost-effective, it's also time-saving. Its setup, activation, and delivery doesn't take less than 30 seconds and save your HRs over 20 hours per month. Our interactive calendar includes happy hours, a daily fitness schedule, well-being networking events. Enjoy team bonding activities like cooking, aromatherapy, and mixology. Mix and match your favorite well-being sessions to create your own bespoke well-being menu. So come and join us and let your body and mind to thank you for that later.
So this is a platform, and if you want to find out more, I'm more than happy to share with you all. I just want to make the final announcements. The one is that we're going to have an in-person event in London in partnership with the Albrights. The Albrights is a female-only members club in London. Many of you might know this venue already. So we're going to organize an amazing event, and if you want to join, please let me know via email, and Michaela is going to include all the links in the chat. Also, about the membership, the Oxygen platform, we give a 20% discount until the end of this week. So if you are interested, you let me know. And I want to talk just a little bit about the Zen Warrior program, because it's a really exciting thing. I know many businesses, they mandate their employees to come to the office once or twice per week. And in many cases, it's hard. Employees don't want, many employees, especially Gen Z employees, don't want to go and work from the office. So the question is, how do you incentivize them? How do you motivate them? And this is why we launched the Zen Warrior program. The Zen Warrior program is our coaches come once every week in your facilities, and they help your employees first thing in the morning to kickstart their day. So it's the Zen Warrior program, it's the Zen Warrior hour, and it's a nice way to invite your employees to come to the office, because in this kind of program, we help them to learn hacks and tips and techniques about how to distress, some breathing, mindfulness exercises, some tips and hacks on tapping and NLP and somatics, things transferable, things that they can use at work to feel more balanced and grounded. So this is an 8-week kind of employee well-being program, and you can order this program via our info@urbanyogalab.com. So it's an 8-week program, and we work with 8 clients at any given time. So if you are interested, we can give you a 10% discount for this specific program, which starts next week. And we're very excited because we want to help your employees to feel happier coming to work, and not like they need to be there, but they want to be there. So that's the last thing. Also, for those of you who want to talk in person and just have a virtual coffee to discuss about your plans next year, the link is below. Free discovery call with me, and let's discuss. So also, I'm very, very active on LinkedIn. So the link is in the comments. Please connect with me on LinkedIn, and let's get to know each other. Let's stay connected. Okay. So that's all I had to share with you today. Thank you so much for staying with me. We ran a little bit late, apologies. And yeah, it was really, really great to talk with you all. I really appreciate your time and your energy, but also all the things that you shared with me during our today webinar. So yeah, have a beautiful, great rest of the week, everyone. And I look forward to see you on our next one, next month. It was great to see you and meet you all. Bye, everyone. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. Gen Z, let's get it. Matthew, that's great. Thanks for sharing, Matthew. Really appreciate it. Thank you. It was a great session. Thank you, Corina. Thank you, Rahil, Lee, Matthew, Sarah, Christopher. Amazing. Dio, Nusaiba, Neha. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, everyone. It was such a pleasure.